Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I did. I knew you were there. Hi, I'm Tina Fey, and I'm showing you around some of the sets here at 30 Rock before we shut it down. This is Liz Lemon's office. I love this office. I'm much more comfortable in this fake office than in my real writing office upstairs. I've spent a lot more time here. What can I tell you about it? She's got a lot of good knickknacks. I plan on stealing this guy because he's family to me now. Old tape mouthy. What else? This is a bulletin board that's just, meant to sort of be texture in the back of the room, but there are some things on it that make me feel nice. I have a few pictures here of my daughter when she was 1. This is Don Pardo, everybody's grandpa Don Pardo. This is Ghostface, who used to be on the show sometimes, season 1. Never paid him because he never filled out his paperwork. There you go. This is special to me. This makes the world collapse a little bit. This is Amy Poehler, who's my friend, and she was on the cover of Bust magazine, which is an awesome magazine. And I just really like that picture of her, so we put it up, even though if that's Amy Poehler, then who am I? Turns into the stepfather. Wait a minute, who am I here? Terry O'Quinn, look it up. There's a lot of junk in here. I think this is more, I keep my office very, very terrible and sloppy, but there's a lot more collectibles in here than I personally would have, but I think it looks nice on camera. I think this was the original design of this was modeled after my office on the 17th floor of NBC, my SNL office. I think our set dressers originally went over there when we were first doing the pilot and took pictures of how sloppy my office was, and that was their inspiration for this office. So I'm very comfortable here. Let's see what's in here. Oh, okay, a bunch of old scripts. Didn't know my lines that day. I guess. Didn't know that. I do have stationery, and that's pretty rad. Liz Lemon. Why do I have opera glasses? I don't know. I have them. Some Sabor de Soledad, that's good. Ricolas, those are real from being sick. This is, I don't know, just stuff. What's in here? There used to be a picture in here. I don't have it anymore. I used to have a framed picture of me and Floyd, Liz and Floyd, in love in Cleveland. And you know what I did with it? I sent it to Mindy Kaling as a gesture of good luck with the Mindy Project. This is a sign for The Girly Show, which if you are a hardcore fan, you might remember that this is what TGS was called. It was called The Girly Show, and then as soon as Tracy came on board by the end of the pilot, it was switched to being called TGS with Tracy Jordan, minimizing Jenna's presence and setting us off on a delightful 7-year arc of actor rivalry / friendship. But this I always loved because this got broken, I think 2 seasons ago, in a scene where Jane was supposed to throw a breakaway mug at me and at Katrina Bowden, and she whipped it so hard that she wasn't supposed to break it. She really broke it. And so I left it broken for a long time until one of our other producers, my husband Jeff Richmond, begged me to fix it because it looked terrible in the shots. So we could fix it as long as it looked poorly fixed. This I don't know who the photographer is on this, but this is a pretty cool thing. Chicken fried steak with mustard. Or is it chicken? Maybe it's chicken fried chicken. This is a fake poster for the 2-woman show that Jenna and Liz did a million years ago. Is based almost exactly on the poster for the show I did with my dear friend Rachel Dratch, called Dratch and Faye. Oh, I'm trying to think of big scenes that I remember shooting in here. Season 1, I remember when we shot an episode called Jack Meets Dennis, was a scene in here where Jack comes in and it's kind of dark, it's at night, and he looks through the blinds. I remember the big shot through the blinds, and it was one of the first scenes where Jack Donaghy offers to mentor Liz Lemon, and it was a really memorable scene to me because it was a real early and positive development in the friendship of those characters as opposed to them just constantly butting heads. I remember shooting the Floyd episode in here where I cried and sang the Christopher Cross song about how I thought I would end up with Floyd, and sang the made-up Christopher Cross song, "All my days I've been waiting for you to come back home." And then Christopher Cross finished the song. He saw the episode, I guess, or someone told him about it, and he finished it, and he recorded it, and we have it. And the crazy part was we were on hiatus. It came in the mail, and we didn't find it for like a couple months when we came back in the summer. And we were like, what is this? It's an envelope from Christopher Cross with a finished song. It's the greatest. It's the greatest. And so it's probably also partly why Liz Lemon's final boyfriend is named Chris Cross. Now we are outside Liz Lemon's office. We are in the writer's room, the fake writer's room. This room I have such mixed emotions about because I've had a lot of fun days in here, but this room is also referred to as, at least by me, as the vortex, because when we shoot scenes in here where everyone's around the table, it takes forever because we have to set it up, shoot this way, move the cameras, move the lights, go this way, then this way, then this way. And it takes, to shoot like a 1 minute scene in here takes like 6 hours. That said, I've had a lot of good times in here. My favorite memory probably ever of shooting in here was we shot the sort of final sequence of Apollo in here when the writers find Liz Lemon's old commercial that she made for a phone sex line in Chicago, and they watch it on the TV in here, and we were all in here. Maybe episode 102, the second episode, where everyone is mad at Liz Lemon and they throw a bunch of stuff at her, including a milkshake and a fax machine. By the way, that's if you wanted to know that if it was a while ago that the show started, we had fax machines. This is Frank and Toofer's office. James Toofer Spurlock, who was sort of named after Robert Carlock before Robert Carlock was involved with the pilot. Just needed a Harvard-y sort of name. This is his area. It's very neat, fastidious. This is his partner, Frank Rossitano. Obviously, he's got a lot more junk, a lot of sort of vaguely dirty stuff. Like that picture, that's all butts, really. You can't really tell, but that's just a bunch of butts. My favorite episodes in here were probably the one where, based on some of my real experience at SNL, where called Sun Tea, an episode where Liz figured out that Judah's character, Frank, has been urinating in jars in his office, and she's trying to get him to stop doing that because it's disgusting. This is Pete Hornberger's office. This is a prop that Scott Adsit requested in the very beginning. He said, could I please have a mug that looks like my kids made it? Which is a very nice choice. And so this is really screwed up. It's filthy too. My favorite thing that we ever shot in here would probably be Adsit passed out with his pants around his ankles with the Victoria's Secret catalog on top of him because he was framed by Kelsey Grammer and the Best Friends gang. This is if you see us traveling anytime to and from the fake studio. There's some cool old pictures of real NBC history on the walls. I always like these. I always wondered about this lady and this guy. I always say that's me and Rick Brer 5 years from now. But I'm in the right. These aren't real bathrooms, but you can pee in there if you want. So then it comes around to our fake elevator bank, which these look a lot like the elevators at NBC, particularly a lot like what they looked like 7 years ago. They have kind of changed a little bit. But you'll notice that this elevator and this one are the only ones that ever come. And I will say, mostly for the last year and a half, only this one. I don't know why we stopped using that one. Hardly ever go in that one. Sometimes we change them to look like a different floor. But are we really fooling anybody? I don't know. So this is stage one. This, as you can see, is our fake show TGS studio. So there's our audience bank, audience seats, a fake control booth up there. Our real prop storage doubles as fake prop storage. And this is where we put up any fake sketch sets. It's kind of in transition right now. This is where we sometimes, not in a long time because we've run out of money, have a fake house band for the TGS set. And sometimes we have a character who plays the piano, and his name is Alfonso Desperioso, and that's my husband. Our Christmas episode is almost always the week of Halloween, and we always have a huge Halloween party here for all the kids, of everyone on the crew and office staff, and it's always confusing to the littlest kids because the set will be decorated for Christmas and they're in their Halloween costumes. One year there was a Santa here too, and it really hurt their little brains. In here, we shot an episode called Kidney Now, which was our season finale for season 3. And we shot with all these music stars. It was a fake benefit that Jack Donaghy was doing to get his father, Milton Green, a new kidney. And it So the people that were here were Elvis Costello, Sheryl Crow, Cyndi Lauper, Robert Randolph. 2 of the Beastie Boys were here. Adam Levine, yeah. And one of the things that was really exciting, it was, first of all, it was our last day of shooting, so we were all in a great mood, or maybe our second to last day, and for the season. And because we don't have a recording studio here, the best place to record these guys all individually singing their parts of this "We Are the World" type song was right here in the stage. And so our crew and our office staff and the cast, anyone who wasn't working, just kind of sat up there, and we got to watch, and they would record, and then sometimes they just would all kind of sit down afterwards and watch each other. It was crazy. It was just a free concert all day long, and I think they all had a really fun time. It seemed like it on the day. So that's one we'll never forget that one. That was Bananikers. Now we're going from this stage area to a fake backstage. This also looks a lot like backstage at Saturday Night Live, particularly 7 years ago, Saturday Night Live. They've remodeled a fair amount of stuff. This, what we call under the bleachers, this little run here, if you want to peek at it, that's what it looks like under the seats at SNL, and you go back there and watch your sketch under there with Lorne Michaels. This is kind of what the backstage area used to look like, these quick change booths, all these things. We used to do so much more creative blocking. Now we're all just like, I'll go over here, you go there. Tracy Jordan's dressing room, twice as big or more than it was the first season. The worst chair in the world, the most uncomfortable chair you will ever sit in your life. The first season, Tracy had a fish tank, because Tracy in real life is very into his aquariums, but the aquariums make noise, and we realized it became a huge pain to like constantly unplug the aquarium for sound, and then you would worry about if the fish were getting enough air. So now he has a fake lizard, and sometimes we used to bring in a real lizard to be moving around behind him when we really were trying to be so arty. But guess what? It's like $1,000 a day for a lizard, for a big Komodo dragon or whatever this is. So that guy, that's what we have now, is that guy. We have all these fake movie posters and fake achievements of Tracy Jordan. Here's some of his albums. The King of Bling, I don't know, Hip Hop Holidays, I think we did refer to that once. That's the Who Dat Ninja soundtrack. Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, of course, his biggest hit ever, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Then these are all fake articles. If you ever get a chance to zoom in on these, Yvonne, I think, in our graphics design department, is usually the person who writes the funny text for these fake articles. And then, of course, over here, Tracy's movie posters. Tracy Jordan's Black Cop, White Cop. One does the duty, the other gets the booty. Tracy Jordan is Who Dat Ninja. Fat Bitch, that one came a couple seasons in. Tracy Jordan is Fat Bitch. She's off the leash. And Sherlock Homie, he's investigating a lady's butt. Our plan when the show ends is to make all of these movies, for real. I think it only take like a month to make 5 of them. I think we could do it. This is another little fake makeup room. This used to be Tracy's dressing room originally, season 1, and now it's just an extra fake makeup room that we don't hardly ever use. I think I used it a couple times in the Joker Batman episode last year, in the Tuxedo Begins. I was in here in a scene with Kenneth. I remember seeing Liz watching Cheyenne get dressed up like Larry Wilcox from Chips in here. That was the other time we used it. That's about it. Bob Hope, look how cute Bob Hope was. I think he was really cute. I like this show too. This is an old show called The Mothers-in-Law. Remember that? That was a good show. Look how much hamburger meat they have. You know that was funny. Any show with that much hamburger meat. Sanford and Son, great show. This is Jenna's dressing room. Not as big as Tracy's, but don't tell the character Jenna that. Jane's played a lot of crazy scenes in here. She's practiced for her role as Janis Joplin in here, which later on became Janie Jimplin, and then eventually Jackie Jorp Jomp, because they couldn't clear the name Janis Joplin. This is her in her outfit from Muffin Top. And this is her with the amazing Will Forte in their hall. There's another Christmas episode where they were dressed like 2 black swans. Jane has been in race-changing makeup on our show. Well, she's had gender-changing makeup 3 times. Race-changing makeup twice? That's not great. James is a good sport about this. Season 2, we started the season with her having gained a whole bunch of weight and she had to wear a big rubber fat suit on the street. These are the posters of the cat. The TGS does not have enough people in it to be a show. First of all, this guy's never here. And it's just the two of them. I don't really understand how the show works. I guess they hire a lot of background every week. These pictures were taken, I think, like the first day that we worked. Beyond the pilot. First day we were back as an actual show. And so this picture of Jane always makes me laugh because I feel like I had just met her. And this guy, he's only fluctuated in weight like 10,000 times. He just looks different every year. But, you know what else too? Remember he used to wear all this jewelry? Guess what? Makes too much noise. Now he just wears one. The things we've learned or the dreams we gave up on, I don't know. Normally at a real show, like at SNL, the hallways are lined with archival pictures of the history of the show, and our design department has been smart enough to take stills of any fake sketch we've done over the years. They grab a still or a screen grab of it, so it looks like we really have been doing TGS for that long. I remember one time we shot an episode where the kind of first scene in the show was everyone it was supposed to be after a TGS show, and everyone was here celebrating with a spread of clams and mussels, and then everyone gets food poisoning, starts throwing up all over the place, and we ended up cutting the whole scene from the show after spending like, I think Adset, you should ask Adset, but he says he ate like 4 dozen mussels or something that night, and he'd never had mussels before. This is Kenneth's page desk. This is what he'll be sitting at the boat show 2 years from now. I've always told Jack McBrayer from the beginning that my goal for him was for him to die wearing that page outfit, and for him to be reduced to mall appearances in that page outfit for the rest of his life. But he actually hasn't been a page for a couple of years. He's been a janitor for the last season or so. But yes, I've spent a lot of times with that fool right here. I wonder if any of everything in his bunch of old fake messages. Been handed the same messages for 7 years. What's this? NBC. So many of the props, like we used to have a Rubik's Cube with all these NBC shows on it. All the shows are gone. And we still haven't solved the puzzle. In MILF Island, this is a whole story around this vending machine where Adset's character, Pete Hornberger, gets trapped under it. And it was one of the few times, I think people think we've done a lot more product placement than we have because we like to say specific names of things, but Soy Joy was one that was actually product placement. It was pretty clear. And those have been in there since MILF Island. I wouldn't eat them now. I don't think they're good anymore. We're going down a fake hallway now. We're going down a fake hallway. Come with me. Think about that picture. When you think about that we work hard, think about those guys eating their lunch on a girder. This is Jack Donaghy's office. This is the set that when your family and friends come to visit the show, this is what they want to see. This is the money. I've spent a lot of time in here. This fruit is delicious. Somehow, just like in the same way that when you go to SNL, Lorne Michaels has better fruit inside his office than they have in the rest of the food supply there. I don't understand it. Similarly, Jack Donaghy's fruit is better than any other fruit in the building. How do it know? How do it know to be better? He's got a lot of art. Jack Donaghy, don't forget, Jack Donaghy firmly believes that there's only 3 things that should ever be the subject of paintings.
The horse is one of only 3 appropriate subjects for a painting, along with ships with sails, and men holding up swords while staring off into the distance.
This is stuff this is a little golf puzzle that pretty quickly props decided to glue it down because stupid actors would play with it between takes and then not be able to do it, and then props have to come in and figure out the puzzle every time. So they're like, hey dummies, guess what, we glued it down. That's the kind of stuff you have to do with actors. They're like babies. You have to like lock cabinets where there's things that could poison them and glue their puzzles down. Alex very into photoshopping every year, depending on who's in the news. He likes to do a bunch of Photoshop pictures. He likes to pick who his character would be proud to have a photo with. This year it's Michelle Bachmann, Gabby Douglas, Karl Rove, he's recoiling kind of from Obama. He's being polite. Boy, he does not look like that anymore. Who's that guy? Talking about Obama. No, I'm not. Who's that? Is that the Dominique Strauss-Kahn or nice? See, I'm doing all right. I know who people are. This is where a lot of iced tea has been poured. A lot of iced tea. Sadly, no real scotch. Well, I don't want to say sadly. I don't like scotch. He drinks a lot of iced tea here, and when I drink fake white wine, it is either colored water or white grape juice, in spite of the fact that I have repeatedly asked for real white wine every year for 7 years. Oh my gosh, things we've shot in here. Rosemary's Baby. I'm not in that scene, but it's probably one of my top 3 favorite scenes from the show ever, where Jack is role-playing to be Tracy's therapist because Tracy's having parental issues. I wasn't in that scene, I wasn't here when they shot it, but I have super fond memories of the writing of that scene with Jack Burdett and Robert and I can't remember which other 4 or 5 of our writers were there, but we stayed up all night working on it in my old apartment a day or 2 before it shot. I just remember by the time we got to Donaghy saying, "You paid me a nickel to bust up your schiffer robe," that we were laughing pretty hard, but we were also really tired. So it was a miracle that we actually were happy with how it came out.
Tracy, just because I stopped loving your dad doesn't mean we stopped loving you. Stop putting words in my mouth, woman. Oye, papi, cállate. People are sleeping. Mind your own damn business, Mrs. Rodriguez.
All right, this is ridiculous.
Lady, just because I'm an ignorant black man and you paid me a nickel to bust up your schiffer robe doesn't give you the right to call me ridiculous just because I'm proud of my son.
Tracy's still walking around saying, "You paid me a nickel to bust up your schiffer robe." I don't know if he knows it's from To Kill a Mockingbird or not. He might. What else in here? Oh God, so many scenes with just me and Alec in here, which are always good, a good way to end the day. Yeah, this is gonna be weird. Whenever we shoot in here the last time, it's gonna be really weird. This is Liz Lemon's apartment. This one has been pretty much the same, except she did a couple years ago buy the apartment upstairs and has slowly been refinishing it with the help of Chris Cross. And so what that means is whenever I would go upstairs to look at the empty apartment, we would have to take everything out of here and repaint it and pretend I went upstairs, and then the next day put everything back in here. Because there's not really an upstairs. It's not real. There's a lot of old Second City stuff here, which is sort of my history, but also Liz Lemon's history, I guess. Barry Manilow Live is not mine, and it's not Liz Lemon's. I don't know why that's here. I don't know whose baby this is, but I really like that baby's legs. I mean, that baby is probably 50 years old now, judging by the age of the photo. This was, this year we shot Jenna destroying my apartment, and all these things did survive, thank God. These are terrifying if you look at them. They actually look like something from The Ring. Gosh, things we've shot in here. I remember for the baby show, we did the matched action shot where Liz is holding someone's baby, and then she just sort of like spins around and gets caught up, and then she realizes she's home, that she's accidentally stolen this lady's baby and brought it home. It seems, when the show had, what I'm going to go ahead and say was a slightly different tone, which scenes with Floyd in here, and the season that Adsit was living with, that Pete was living with Liz for a few episodes because he was in a fight with his wife. I enjoyed those scenes. I liked them. Oh my gosh, eating cheese fondue with John Hamm before we really even hardly knew that guy, and we were, trying to play him off like a sort of normal romantic comedy lead, and then we're like, wait a minute, this guy's funny. Let's cut his hands off and make him an idiot. When Liz Lemon would go to Dr. Drew Baird's apartment, that was supposed to be in the same building, so that was the same thing. We would redecorate this place to look like his place. Also, the time that Liz joined a fight club, that was this same apartment, beautifully redecorated by our design team. Really, really well done. Before we had built this set, we shot on location in an apartment on the Upper West Side, and so this set was built to kind of look like the location, I believe, in some way. The bedroom certainly does. Oh gosh, Fred Armisen played Liz Lemon's neighbor of Arabic descent that she became suspicious of and sort of turned him into the government, and it was all a big, terrible misunderstanding. Bobby Moynihan did a bit down here where he was sort of Liz Lemon's super who lived down in that apartment. And we never aired it because it was the end of last year, and we brought Bobby back to do something else. But it was he played like my building super who looked like, not even like Mario, he looked like Wario. So it was like, not only was it a Super Mario joke, it was like an overly obscure Wario joke. That I was like, you know what, guys? I don't know why I didn't tell you ahead of time this was too crazy, but it was. Liz has never done anything here. It's such a nice little space. They must not be able to light it or something because this is so nice. Isn't this nice? This is our bedroom. I say ours now because Chris Cross lives here. Isn't that joyful? I am proud to say that not one sexual scene has ever been shot in this bedroom. I consider that a triumph of feminism, that I have never once had to simulate any kind of sexual arousal on this program. And I guarantee you that I will not. So anyway, that's the place. It is for sale, and we're listed with Elliman.com and Cutville Linane, and we're listing the whole place for $1.6. It is a condop. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Bye.